Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be 20 jobs that you can do with almost no technical ability like coding or computer skills and still be a full-time digital nomad. So if you guys are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested in advice for becoming a nomad or insider tips on what it's really like and the upsides and the downsides, then this is going to be the channel for you. And if you are a repeat subscriber, it is so nice to see you here. I love it every week when you come back to watch my videos. If you get a lot of value from my videos, then I wanted to let you know I have got a Patreon page, which is linked in the description box below. No obligation, but if you want to support me and let me know that you're getting value from these videos, if you're learning the kind of thing where maybe you would have instead bought an ebook or an online course, then I'd really love your support. You can just check out that link in the description. So on to the video. It's going to be reasonably quick fire because 20 is quite a lot, but the video was originally going to be non-coder jobs, and that's been quite highly requested, but I actually think every job except being a coder is a non-coder job, and so I wanted to expand it to jobs which are as non-technical as possible. Pretty much every job as digital nomad does have some tech because it's the word digital, like that's kind of the point, and you're earning money online and doing an internet-based business, but I tried to take out ones like graphic designer, web developer, obviously coder, building sales pages, sales funnels, drop shipping, all that kind of thing, which involves quite a lot of understanding of technology, like doing SEO, Facebook ads, all that kind of stuff I think is too techie to go in this video. So it's going to be 20 things that are as untechy as possible. Let's go. Number one is teaching. There's loads of websites where you can teach via webcam, either to kids or to adults. You can teach English, you can teach maths, there's a bunch of different things. And normally, as long as you are a native English speaker, so either you are English, American, Australian, or Canadian, you can teach on these. I do have a list of a ton that I know of, which I will link in the description box, but there's also a ton more out there. So just check that you're with a reputable one. Some of them pay more than others. They all have different auditions and qualifications and stuff like that. But you can definitely be a teacher with extremely limited technical ability. Number two is translating. For this, you will need to speak a second language very well. Being a translator can vary a lot as a job. You can be a low paid one, or you can be a really high paid one, depending on your level of experience. But translating is a job which doesn't require much tech. It's probably just a Google Doc or a Word document that you then type into the preferred language. Number three is proofreading and editing. Similar to translating, it varies the pay depending on how much experience you have, but I know people who have degrees and qualifications which they thought would mean they couldn't really be nomads. So I know someone with a chemistry degree, a law degree, a medical degree, and they use those to edit relevant papers. So she edits law papers that are like submitted to journals and that kind of thing, or proofreads them, and that's the kind of job which you maybe couldn't do just as a like normal basic level editor. So that might be a cool spin on a qualification you have that you didn't know was useful. But also you can just edit people's ebooks, like proofreading, edit their website copy, all that kind of stuff. Number four is copywriting or journalism or writing sales pages, all that kind of thing. Basically, creative writing in one way or another. I did journalism for a while as a nomad, and all you really need is a Word document so that you can type things and a creative mind. Number five is working on Instagram, either being an Instagrammer yourself or helping other people with their Instagram. This can get more technical if you're helping them like grow it with tools or looking at the numbers, but you might even just be taking pictures for them. Maybe they want travel photos because they're a travel brand, but they're actually just based in London and you're based in Thailand. So you can use this sort of for photography, to be taking pictures. I think being an Instagrammer probably requires less technical knowledge than being a YouTuber where you need to be able to edit, or being a blogger where you need to build a blog site and deal with SEO and that kind of thing. I think Instagram is probably more accessible if you don't have technical abilities, so that might be one to consider. Number six is a very, very broad one, but I always like to include it, which is doing a remote job, probably your current job, but remotely. So if you work in HR, marketing, sales, customer service especially, you can do those jobs from anywhere in the world. So maybe you can convince your boss to do that. I know a lot of people, especially who do customer service, because maybe you want your customer service desk to be available 24/7. So if you have British people living in Thailand, then they can have the expertise to be able to run your desk, but from Thailand. And that could be you. Number 7 is to be a virtual assistant. This one can vary in techness depending on who your client is, but you might be booking flights for them, doing some writing for them like we talked about, going through their emails, filtering their Instagram comments, you know, all kinds of things. Like a virtual assistant can really do anything. Booking their Skype appointments, booking their hotels. There's so much stuff that you could do as a virtual assistant, and there's always people recruiting on Upwork and that kind of thing to hire. Number 8 is to do a job which is very specialized and highly qualified but remote. So by this I mostly mean lawyer, accountant or consultant. So our accountant is remote. We've also used remote lawyers. Anyone we need has to be remote because we're remote. So if you have a qualification like that, you can probably charge quite a lot, and mostly you just need to be able to do a Skype call or email chats with them. You don't necessarily need to be face-to-face to be a consultant or be a lawyer. Number 9 is being a therapist or a life coach. We have hired, in fact, both life coaches and therapists online. There's a ton of services now which offer people the chance to be an online therapist. So exactly the same as being a real life therapist, well, in real life, like physical therapist, but you just do it over Skype, or some of them are even over chat. I know ones like Talkspace, you just chat to people, you don't even like visually see them. So there's definitely ways you can do that. If you're already qualified as a therapist, then I would consider that. Or if you're interested in becoming a life coach, there are qualifications that you can do, or if you have a lot of experience in it, then maybe it's something you can already offer. Number 10 is to be an illustrator. This is similar to a graphic designer, but hopefully a bit less technical because you're drawing. So maybe you can illustrate people's wedding invitations or their book covers. There's a ton of things that you could do that you might not have thought of before. Number 11, I hadn't even thought of, but I saw it on Upwork when I was researching this video, and that is to be a mystery shopper. And people were recruiting on Upwork for mystery shoppers globally. So anywhere in the world you are, you can go to a restaurant or a shop or a petrol station and mystery shop them and get paid for it, which is pretty awesome. Number 12 is selling on Amazon or eBay. I think dropshipping is probably a lot more technical because you need to make a website, you need to drive traffic to that website. But selling on Amazon or eBay, you really just need to find the product and then add it to the site. And there's a few technical things that you need to get photography. Your SEO is going to be important, like working out how to appear top on Amazon. But that's mostly based on reviews, the quality of your product, the keywords that you put in your description. So there's technical elements, but I think it's a lot less technical than building a website to do dropshipping, and it can be really, really profitable. I do have a few videos about selling on Amazon, so I will link them up in the corner. Number 13 is being a tour guide or a travel planner or a travel booker. I know some people who book people's travel for them as a job. So they book their Airbnbs, they organize day trips for them, they book their flights, they book their transfer from the airport, all that kind of stuff. But you can also list yourself on Airbnb experiences as a tour guide. You can give like a local tour or a food tour or an Instagram tour. There's a bunch of different things that you can list on Instagram experiences if you're staying somewhere for a little bit of a longer time. But also being a tour guide, I think, is quite a transient job. So most of the like free walking tours where you get paid in tips, I imagine their turnover is quite high. So maybe when you arrive somewhere, you can learn a bunch about it online. I imagine the tour guide company actually give you a lot of the information that you need to cover. So maybe you can become a travel expert. There are also some websites and apps, which I will link down below, where you can get paid to be like a local kind of host. Some people offer it for free and some people charge for it, which I think seems really clever. Number 14 is to be a creator, selling on Etsy or selling in whatever town that you're in, whether it's digital products or physical products. If you have an artistic tendency, if you are talented, then this is definitely a non-technical job that you can do from anywhere in the world. Number 15, you don't often get paid for, but can massively reduce your expenses, which is being a pet sitter or a house sitter. I know some people do get paid for these, so it is possible, but even if it means that you get free accommodation, that's a huge part of your expenses taken care of and means that you can see all around the world. Number 16 is doing childcare, either being a nanny or an au pair or a babysitter. Those you can do all over the world. Quite often they're a bit longer term, but if you want to go and live in Australia for 6 months or live in America for 6 months, that can be a really good way to do it. And even if you just want to do a little bit of babysitting on the side, it's a nice extra bit of side income. Maybe you're house sitting, so you're getting free accommodation, and you message the local neighbours to see if anyone needs babysitting. Before you know it, you've got enough money to survive while you build your online empire. Number 17 is property. Maybe you have property that you can rent out, possibly your home that you're moving out of to become a nomad. Whether you own it or whether you have a mortgage, if there's no restrictions in your lease or your rental, then you might be able to rent it out. But you could also be a Airbnb property manager, either buy somewhere to rent out or just help people rent out their properties, like listing them on Airbnb. They might need someone to meet the guests with the keys or organize the changeovers, all that kind of stuff. So try and be a bit creative. Maybe you can't afford to own your own property, but maybe you can help people take their Airbnb photos or get their listings up, and that's not a super technical job. You also might even be able to help people buy. If you are a mortgage broker, then you can definitely do that online, or similar things like helping people find houses that are at a good price, giving people advice on interior design or house flipping. Any of that kind of consultancy stuff, if you have experience, can be very valuable. Number 18 is being a voiceover artist. There's a lot of websites which will let you offer voiceover, including things like Fiverr and Upwork, but there are also voice-specific ones. I know a few people who do this. The only technical part is that you need to be able to edit the sound, maybe you need to be able to turn down the echo and make it sound really good. But I think that's something you could learn much more quickly than you can learn to code. Number 19 is to be a photographer. Maybe you can sell stock photography or stock videography. If you have a drone, if you have a 360 camera, all that kind of stuff is really big at the moment, and you can make money selling stock photos and videos, especially if you're traveling the world seeing beautiful places. Then stock photos like that are always needed. But you could also be a paid photographer. Like I said on the Airbnb experiences, maybe you can offer photography for people when they're visiting a city. You can do event photography, wedding photography. If you're good at photography, you have options. And finally, number 20 is podcasting. Again, this can take a little bit of a while, similar to a blog or an Instagram, to build up an income. But you can have ads, you can do paid podcasts. Podcasting is such a growing industry at the moment, and it doesn't take that much technical skill. You need to be able to edit the audio. Some people just leave it as kind of one long podcast, but I think it's nice if you can chop out bits that get a bit rambly. But also you might be able to help other people edit their podcasts, design their podcast logos. There's a ton of stuff that you can do that don't require too much technical skill. So that is my 20. There's probably a ton more that I could do, but I really wanted to limit it to ones that are as untechnical as possible. So I hope that you find that useful. Please let me know in the comments any others that you think I should have included, because maybe I'll do a part 2 video for this. And good luck if you are starting out as a nomad. If you want to learn to code, you totally can, but if you want to do jobs that don't require that, that is also possible. And you can be full-time traveling, working online. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.